routers. 1/2 inch, 8mm, 1/4 inch. What's the difference? When would you use one over the other? So right off the bat, let's explain what we're talking about. When we say 1/2 inch, we're talking about the diameter of the shaft. Same for 8mm, same for 1/4 inch. It goes without saying, 1/2 inch is going to be bigger than 1/4. It's actually double the size. And then 8mm is the mid-range one. The most common sizes are going to be 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch, although you can pick up the 8mm here and there. If you're looking for something in between these two, I think the 8mm is a great option, and I'll explain why in a second. So then, looking at the 1/2 inch, this router here, this is the Trend T11. This thing is a beast. It weighs just under 6 kilos without a bit in it. It's great for heavy duty work, huge stock removal. I use it when I'm making mortises in big gates. I use it when I'm doing half laps. I use it when I want to take a huge amount of stock away, right? This one here, the little 1/4 inch, this is my finish or palm router. 1/4 inch, you quite often hear this referred to as a palm router because obviously it fits in your palm and you can move it around. This only weighs just under 1 kilo, I think. This is the little Trend T4. This comes with a 1/4 inch and an 8mm collet. Now, if you don't know what a collet is, that's the piece of metal work that goes here, here, and here, and that's what the router bit slips into, and then you tighten down. If you're looking for a router to go into a router table, I'd probably look for a 1/2 inch router, just because the sort of work that you're going to be doing with a 1/2 inch router, when you're going to be maybe putting beading on the edge, or you're going to be using a mitre lock bit, you're going to be routing large slots in it, the 1/2 inch is always going to be a better option because you've got a thicker shaft, so it's going to be safer, right? And you can hog out more material than you could do with a tiny little 1/4 inch bit. If you're thinking, hey, I want to be able to take the router to the workpiece as opposed to the workpiece to the router table, if I want to be able to take the router to the workpiece, palm router is going to be the one that you're looking at. I quite like these because you can pop small bits in them, and you know you can cut slots on the edges of a piece of timber, you can round the ends over, you can put a 45 on there. They really excel when you need to take the router to the workpiece. So say, for example, you're working with a big tabletop or something like that. Now, the reason that I like the 8mm is because the 8mm is sort of like the in-between. It gives you a little bit more width on the shaft, so it means that the bit's going to be a little bit stronger, so inevitably it's going to be a little bit safer to use. You're going to be able to hog out a little bit more material. However, the 8mm shaft are not particularly common in the UK. I normally have to mail order those, so it's not something I'd be able to pop down to Screwfix, Toolstation, B&Q, wherever, and just pick up a bit. Whereas you can pretty much guarantee if I need a bit, I can pop to a hardware store and go pick up a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch bit. Now, the 1/4 inch bits are going to be cheaper, which for a lot of you is a factor. It's a factor for me, to be fair. Sometimes the bits, the 1/2 inch bits, can be run to like 40, 50 pounds, whereas in the 1/4 inch, they're like 15 quid. So it's a huge cost difference. But if you're going to be using it a lot, you're going to be doing heavy duty work, I'd always go with the 1/2 inch. Now, like I said earlier, the problem with the 1/2 inch is it's big and it's heavy, right? It's not something you're going to want to be holding above your head. It's not something you're going to be holding out at arm's length. Whereas something like this or this is super easy. What I tend to do with this little 8mm one is I have it set up for specific tasks. When I want to create mortises for loose tenons, this is what I'll use. I'll put an upcut 8mm shaft bit in there, quite a decent cutting face on it. And then what I'll do is then I can push that and move that around. If I really need to, I can put the 1/2 inch bit into this 1/2 inch router, but again, it's just fatigue if you're using it all day long. This is a lot of work, whereas this really isn't. I have to be honest though, this is the one that probably gets the most use in my workshop because it's just super easy just to pop a little bit in, run along and create a slot in a piece of wood for like a large spline. It's easy to go put a small 45 onto the edge of a piece of material or a workpiece. So then just to recap, the 1/2 inch is perfect for heavy duty work. It's perfect for putting large loose tenons into timber. It's perfect for creating half laps. It's perfect for really heavy duty work where you want to be able to hog a lot of material out in one go. The 1/4 inch is perfect for small fine work. It is a palm router, that's what it's referred to it. They're great for the fine detailed work, but obviously because they come with this, all the bits have a smaller shaft, you just have to be aware with that. And so whereas you might take something out in 2 passes in this, you might need to take it in 3 to 4 or 5 or 6 passes with this. And the 8mm is a great in-between one. However, like I said, the bits can be difficult to get hold of. And so that's why I tend to just have this one set up for specific jobs, like I said, hogging bits and pieces out. So what would I recommend for the hobbyist? I'd probably go with a 1/4 inch. And then if you need to pick up a 1/2 inch in the future, then you pick up a 1/2 inch in the future. If you have issues with your shoulders, your back, your neck, again, this is going to be a lot easier to use because it's a lot lighter than this. If you're going to be doing a lot of heavy duty work or you want something to go in a router table, then probably look at a 1/2 inch one. And if you're going to put it in a router table, the thing to look for is you want to be able to have one that comes with an adjustment from this side up. So this router here has this tool here, and what this does is this goes in here, and what you can do is you can raise and lower the the plunge base on the router, so you effectively lift it up and lower it down. They do tend to be more expensive if they have that feature, but if you look at a proper router lift, they can run upwards of like £300 to £400. So these tend to be the better option in between. Interestingly, this little trend here is the cheapest out of all of them. I have done a long form video on it. I did have some issues with it, but for me personally, like I said, having it set up for specific tasks, this works great for me. And if you want to put a 1/4 inch or even maybe a 6mm bit in there, you can do. So I hope that's given you a little bit of insight and clears up some questions that you may have had as to whether you want a 1/2 inch, 8mm or 1/4 inch router. If you have any questions, please let me know below. And thank you very much. If you're still here, you're awesome. You take it easy, and I'll catch you on the next one.